right now ahead of the Leafs and Coyotes is Chris Johnston. Chris Johnston, can you laugh on the inside?
I think you can. I'm in Donovan's corner on this one.
Oh, wow.
Thank you.
I'm so used to winning these arguments whenever someone comes on that I'm so shocked by it. You can laugh inside.
You've never found something funny, but not actually made an audible noise?
No. I'm a very easy laugher.
I'm not.
Got to work hard for it. All right, so it's Jack Campbell again, right, Chris Johnston?
It is. You're not going to win an argument when you upgrade the IQ level of your partner here, as you have with Sid Sixero.
See,
Sorry,
that's laugh out loud fun.
Burn.
That's laugh out loud fun.
Right.
But
I don't think I got burned.
Yeah, it is Jack Campbell.
It was someone else who got murdered, but whatever. Yeah, Jack Campbell. Does this tell us anything about Freddie Anderson's injury?
I don't think we're at the point where we have to worry yet. Is probably where you're probably leading me. Is this a concern? You know, he's been on the ice for the last 5 days, at least. We don't know if he was on there Sunday. He's looked okay. I mean, I read that to think that he was going to start this game, you know, just based on practice yesterday and what we saw at the morning skate. It sounds like the Leafs want to be a little more careful with Freddie, or Freddie wants to be a little more careful with Freddie. And so we'll see. If this drags out, maybe some cause for concern. But at this point, I think it makes sense to be cautious. And Jack Campbell does have 3 or 4 points in the 2 games he played last week. So I think there's some confidence there as well.
But is this not the exact reason why you get Jack Campbell, so you don't feel the need to rush Freddie back? I mean, Tim earlier in the show rightly made the point, well, if you don't make the playoffs, then you're not resting Freddie for anything. But given the way Freddie has been tired towards the end of the year, isn't it smart to slow play this?
I think it is, you know, especially if Jack plays well. And, you know, he did play well in Montreal. He was 2 minutes from posting a shutout, and the Leafs getting two points out of that game. Obviously, a seeing eye shot beats them late in regulation. They end up losing. But, you know, his performance was there. He was, you know, gave them some confidence and you know, it's something to believe in back there. And so, you know, I do think it makes some sense. And look, even if Freddie returns healthy for Thursday's game, if Campbell plays well, I do think you're going to see something closer to a split than we've seen the last number of years here in Toronto. Not 50-50, of course, but, you know, I think there will be a desire to try to rest Freddie and balance the workload a little bit better than's traditionally been the case.
We know that the flu hit Montreal pretty hard and that it was hitting the Leafs pretty hard. Any update on who's in, who's out? I know John Tavares was affected, at least we think.
Not yet. John Tavares and Justin Hall are basically considered game-time decisions. It does look like William Nylander will go back in after he missed 2 games with the flu over the weekend, and it's just that time of year. You alluded to it. The Canadiens dealt with it and had some sick players. I'm sure there's a few guys maybe not feeling 100% that are going to play for the Leafs, and you know, we'll just have to wait for warm-ups in half an hour here or so to get a clearer picture, because there's no definitive word just yet.
Montreal, to me, is fascinating, and some people feel like they're in real trouble and need to make some real moves. Is there something specific they could do that could really change what's now pretty bleak playoff aspirations? I look at their power play, which is 9.4% since January 1st, 30th in the league. Is there a quick fix, or should they be thinking about stocking up for future years?
I suspect if they're busy at all before the deadline, it's going to be in a trading capacity. I mean, that could change. You know, a lot of teams are like Montreal. The standings are so packed in the middle this year that if they reel off 4 or 5 victories from now, I mean, maybe that the outlook's a little bit different prior to the 24th. But, you know, reasonably, if they don't have that kind of late surge at the last minute, I think they're more likely to be a team that's trading a few assets away and looking ahead for the next year. I mean, one of the reasons that's so difficult in general for the Canadians is that Shea Weber and Carey Price, their captain and their franchise goaltender, you know, only have so many years left. And, you know, unfortunately, Weber's out right now with an injury that's believed to be fairly significant, and so he might be gone for quite some time. But, you know, I don't think they want to enter a full rebuild as long as they have those 2 players around. But, you know, I do think that if there's any move to be made, it's more likely selling off, you know, maybe a 4th liner, perhaps, you know, one of their guys with term like Thomas Tatar. But I would be very surprised to see them enter the rental market and actually bring, you know, in another player.
Chris Johnston joining us from Scotiabank Arena ahead of the Coyotes and the Leafs. I want to piggyback on Donovan by just asking, are the Leafs in on the defenseman market? Because if they are, it seems like that market is getting more and more expensive with every injury report that is filed across the National Hockey League.
Well, they're in on it in the sense they're monitoring it, and they're certainly have called the teams that I think that they've identified have some players that they could see a fit. But I don't think they're in on it in a matter that they'll just pay anything to get somebody. You know, I don't think you'll see a move just to say they've made a move with this blue line. And really, I think ideally the Leafs are looking to address future years as much as this year, bringing in defenseman that has some term on his contract that can be around not just for the push to the playoffs this year and potentially, whatever happens in the postseason for them. I think that they really would look more towards players that can help over a longer period of time. And the truth of the matter is, I don't think there's any guarantee at all they can get those kind of deals done. The price might be too high. There might be too many competitors, or it doesn't make sense from Toronto's standpoint. And so, I think that they're probably classified best as a team that's curious about what's out there, but isn't necessarily aggressively going out to pursue those options.